Here we are out on Lake Guntersville. It is the heart of the fall pattern. Today we had a great day on the water, you know. We utilized a lot of different reaction baits, kind of just junk fishing, you know. And we got these kind of overcast conditions, not much wind. When you have overcast conditions, one of my main primary baits I like to go to is some sort of topwater. In the fall especially, the Lucky Craft Gunfish is just a killer. You can move water, it's very erratic, it splashes, it just does all sorts of different things. Here I have two different sizes. I like the smaller one when the conditions are a little calmer like we do have today. If there is a little bit of wind that picks up, that bigger one just creates a lot more commotion, and those fish can see that bait from afar. So I always have two different size gunfishes tied on just for those different types of conditions, because in the fall, a lot of times around the States, the weather and the wind just changes so frequently, so just having two at the hip definitely goes a long way. But if I were to choose one, if I were to have one on the deck, it'd definitely be this 110 size. You can cast it a lot further, it walks the dog way better, it splashes, it doesn't roll over. The smaller one does all the same features, but it's a little bit more, I guess, finicky, you could say. That smaller gunfish, you want it to be in one place longer than this one. The bigger gunfish, I'm moving a ton of water and getting that thing across different targets and obstacles. So we did have a few blowups on that today. The main bait that we use today to catch most of our fish is going to be the jerkbait. I used two different sizes. This is the Slender Pointer 97. I wouldn't say this one got most of the bites. I threw the 112 most of the day in that Ghost Minnow. That 112 is just an all-around great size. Whether you're targeting bigger bait fish or smaller, it's just the perfect size just to start off with any time of the year when you're throwing a jerkbait. Once I start kind of getting a few bites here and there, like you saw in the video, I was having some fish chase the bait, and they weren't really reacting to it as well. I get a few fish here and there that would eat it. So then I went and changed up to a little bit smaller profile, a little bit different color with these conditions, like you saw in that video. First cast, caught one, then caught one on my second cast. So little key changes like that can make all the difference. This one's just chewed up from today. But yeah, that jerkbait played well all day today. I definitely varied all my cadences. It seemed like the majority of the fish today wanted it super, super fast. I started out a little bit slow, and you could see some of these fish jump out, and then they'd kind of see the bait almost, and they kind of just roll out. So what I had to do was just keep going, and they'd come out and eat it. Another bait I had tied on that I love in the fall, but I don't love in these overcast conditions, is going to be the screw pointer. The screw pointer has a very, very distinct action. It just swims super straight, and these little propellers right here, they give off a little bit of vibration. And when fish are keying in on small bait fish, this is definitely the profile that'll get them. But with these overcast conditions, this bait right here is a little bit tough to see in some of these dirtier waters. But in the fall, when they're just chasing bait and then getting on bait, that screw pointer is a great, great technique to have on the deck for finicky fish. So when I'm throwing the jerkbait in the fall, my starting lineup is going to be the first one, like I said, that Slender Pointer 112. Ghost Minnow is a go-to color that I love anywhere I go. Good and stained, a little bit of stain, clear water. And then next I'm going to go with that Slender Pointer 97. And the reason I'm using the Slender Pointers, you know, that smaller lip that had a little bit more success today, was that bait fish was towards the top of the surface. Fishing it anywhere from 2 to 6 foot of water, and those fish would come out in that 5 to 10 foot zone and come out and eat it. And then if those fish are a little bit deeper, that water's a little cleaner, I'll go with that Stacy 90. Didn't really have much success on it today, but that's only because those fish were a lot shallower. The gear I like to use on throwing the Lucky Craft gunfish, the smaller gunfish I throw on a 610, super light. It's actually my jerkbait rod. The lighter bait, I can whip it out a little bit easier, and I'll throw it on 30-pound braid. Sometimes I'll throw it on just like a monofilament, but 30-pound braid to me is the best to get that on a longer cast. There's no stretch, so it's easier to walk that bait side to side. With the bigger size gunfish, I'm gonna go with a 7 foot to 7'3", kind of like a crankbait rod, 30-pound braid as well. That braid, you know, when you get it way out there, it's just easier to snap and really get a erratic motion out of this bait and let it spit, because the front of that bait has that cupped motion on it, so it spits water. And the faster you can start spitting water way out there, the more lifelike it's going to be to get a bite. So when I'm targeting throwing the Lucky Craft gunfish, I'm looking at, still in the fall time, your main river channel. I like to look at flat long points where bait fish from the main river slide up onto these long points and fish will start feeding on these, because a lot of times these fish want to go into the backs of these cuts and bait fish will go up and down like a highway. They'll start feeding on this, they'll start feeding up in here, and they use these contours as a highway. Fish will start feeding. But little island tops, flats with sharp contours like that, that's just a great spot for bass to hang out in the fall time.